Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here I will make a summary about the Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Gregor Samsa, a traveling salesman, wakes up on his bed to find himself transformed into a large insect. He looks around his room, which appears normal, and decides to go back to sleep to forget about what has happened. He attempts to roll over, only to discover that he can't. Due to his new body, he is stuck on his hard, convex back. He tries to scratch an itch on his stomach, but when he touches himself with one of his many new legs, he is disgusted. He reflects on how dreary life as a traveling salesman is, and how he would quit if his parent and sister did not depend so much on his income. He turns to the clock and sees that he has overslept and missed his train to work. Gregor's mother knocks on the door. When he answers her, Gregor finds that his voice has changed. His family suspected he may be ill, so they ask him to open the door, which he keeps locked out of habit. He tries to get out of bed, but he can't maneuver his transformed body. While struggling to move, he hears his office manager come into the family apartment to find out why Gregor has not shown up to work. He eventually rocks himself to the floor and calls out that he will open the door momentarily. Through the door, the office manager warns Gregor of the consequences of missing work and hints that Gregor's recent work has not been satisfactory. Gregor protests and tells the office manager that he will be there shortly. Neither his family nor the office manager can understand what Gregor says, and they suspect that something may be seriously wrong with him. Gregor managed to unlock the open the open open the door with his mouth. Since he has no hand, he begged the office manager forgiveness for his late start. Horrified by Gregor's appearance, the office managers bolted from the apartment. Gregor tried to catch up with the fleeing office manager, but his father drives him back into the bedroom with a cane and a rolled newspaper. Gregor injures himself squeezing back through the hallway, and his father slams the door shut. Gregor, exhausted, falls asleep. Gregor wakes and sees that someone has put milk and bread in his room. Initially excited, he quickly discovers that he has no taste for milk, once one of his favorite food. He settles himself under a couch and listens to the quiet apartment. The next morning, his sister Grete, comes in. Sees that he has not touched the milk and replaces it with a rotting food scraps, which Granger happily eats. This begins a routine to which his sister feed him and clean up while he hides under the couch. Afraid that his appearance will frighten her, Gregor spends his time listening through the wall to his family members talking. They often discuss the difficult financial situations they find themselves in now that cannot provide from them. Gregor also learned that his mother wants to visit him, but his sister and father will not let her. Gregor, Gregor grows more comfortable with his changed body. He begins climbing the walls and sailing for amusement. Discovering Gregor's new pastime, Grete decides to remove some of the furniture to give Gregor more space. She and her mother begin taking furniture away, but Gregor finds their action deeply distressing. He tries to save a picture on the wall of a woman wearing a fur hat, fur scarf, and fur muff. Gregor Mothers, Gregor Mothers sees him hanging on the wall and passed out. Grete calls out to Gregor, the first time anyone has spoken directly to him since his transformation. Gregor runs out of the room and into the kitchen. His father returns from his new job and, misunderstanding the situations, believes Gregor has tried to attack the mother. The father throws apple at Gregor and one sinks into his bag and remains lodged there. Gregor manages to get back into his bedroom but is severely injured. Gregor's family begins leaving the bedroom door open for a few hours each evening so he can watch them. He sees his family wearing down as a result of his transformation and their new poverty. Even Grete seems to resent Gregor now, feeding him and cleaning up with a minimum of effort. The family replaced their maid with a cheap cleaning lady who tolerates Gregor's appearance and speaks to him occasionally. They also take on three boarders, requiring them to move excess furniture into Gregor's room, which distresses Gregor. Gregor has also lost his taste for food Grady brings, and he almost entirely ceases eating. One evening, the cleaning lady leaves Gregor's door open while the boarder lounge about the living room. Grady has been asked to play the violin for them, and Gregor creeps out of his bedroom to listen. The boarders, who initially seemed interested in Grady, grow bored with her performance, but Gregor transfixed by it. One of the boarders spot Gregor's and they become alarmed. Gregor's father tries to shove the boarders back to their room, but the three men protest and announce they will move out immediately without paying rent because of the disgusting condition in the apartment. Grete tells her parents that they must get rid of Gregor or they will be ruined. Her father agrees, wishing Gregor could understand them and would leave of his own accord. Gregor does in fact understand and slowly moves back to the bedroom. There, determined to rid his family of his presence, Gregor dies. Upon, upon discovering that Gregor's, Gregor dies, Gregor dead, the family feels a great sense of relief. The father kicks out the boarders and decides to fire the cleaning lady who has disposed of Gregor's body. The family takes a trolley ride to the countryside, during which they consider their finances. Months of spare month of spare living as a result. Gregor's condition have left them with substantial savings. They decide to move to a better apartment. Grete appears to have her strength and beauty back, which led her parents to think about finding her a husband. That's all my summary about the Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.